everybody. How are you all doing? What is going on, guys? Let me see here. Looks like we got some people in the chat already. We got about 6 people, it says. I don't know how true that is. Let me just go down the line and say hey to everybody. We got DMC Productions, Chevy Fish, Catbot, Julie Writes on Walls, Jessica Taylor, Shadow Hair, James Fitting, Samantha, Crude Comments. I don't know if Crude Comments is still here or not, but Alice KH, Ojisan Arts, Mr. Kantar. That looks like about everybody. If I didn't say hi to you, I'm sorry. Just let me know. Hello. Hello, everybody. Chevy Fish. I hope you got your email from me. And I don't know if you replied yet. I haven't checked it. I'll have to double check it in a little bit. Say your name like a pirate. Say my name like I'm your dad. Oh, I'm not gonna do that. Let me see here. There we go. Notifications everywhere. Jeez Louise. Everybody wants to notify everybody. Alright, well I got some stories queued up. Just a couple. And we'll hit those here shortly. How's everybody doing? Hope you're all doing well. Hey Catherine, how you doing? Got my crystal information card set in the mail. What is crystal information card set? It looks like principal gemstone property cards. Well, right on, I guess. I'm doing well, Alice. Thank you for asking. Great. Got alcohol and food for my birthday, Wednesday. Whoop whoop. How old are you going to turn, Samantha? I know that's probably rude. You don't ask women their age. But you did say it's your birthday, so. Amethyst. What does that heal? Clearing negativity and confusion. Affirmation. I will let go of attachments and rest in the truth. Uh-oh, you deleted what you said. I didn't see what you said. I don't mind. 33. Well, right on. 33 is a good age. I'm good. Just on my Monday wind down time. Got whiskey in one hand, a beer in the other. Damn, Oja-san, looks like you're gonna go hard, bud. I mean, you know, to each their own. We need to start off here with the lubricating the lips, as it were, with our Burt's Bees. So we're gonna put the Burt's Bees on our lips. Let's just do that real quick. That's good Burt's Bees right there. 2 little buzzes. Age is an achievement. Pro gamer move. In this game we play as life. I think we're all under a patch right now, right? Or we need a patch. This is by Friday night. Long weekend. Alright, well, let's do one of them damn stories, you know, them dang old dangs. Do I have more? Ah, jeez. F5. There we go, clearing out that. F5. Cleared out that too. And what about you? You're good. Both of these stories are series. They are on No Sleep. So if you do like any one of them, either of them, let me know. And I will continue the series in later streams. I'm only going to be doing a few tonight. I got to get to bed at a decent hour. Um, Finally, have a day off. Yes. What's happening, Magenta Cherry? Alright, well, I'm on level 40. Whoop whoop. Alright, well, the first one I'm going to do is called I'm Staying with an Exchange Family in Japan. Something very wrong is happening here. The other one's called I'm Living My Life Backwards. And that's by Richard Saxon. We've heard his stories before and we like them. For the most part, I like them, and I think y'all do too. But the first story is by Squishy Cabbage. You heard that right. Here is the linky link for the story. Well, I have a temp job coming soon, but I haven't started it yet. I can't say I'm too excited about it, but I'll let you know. It's gonna be a simple job, and the pay's shit, but whatever. So there's the link right there in the chat. You know words are hard sometimes. Do a super scary, not long story. Yeah, it's hard to find super scary stories. Um, I implore you all to find stories that y'all find super scary and mail them to me, or send them to me in Discord. If they're not ridiculously long, like we learned with Ben Hur, that was a long story, but that was super long. You know, I have read stories that are an hour long, but they were captivating. Um, but anyways, let's start this story. This is part 1 to the series. First one, and once again, it's I am staying with an exchange family in Japan. Something very wrong is happening here. Now, let's get the mic nice and close to my face. Well, I would read the long ones, and I do read the long ones, but it's hard to read those out loud sometimes. You got the zombie fires in Alaska. That's pretty scary. I don't know who Jenna Marbles and Julian Sambata are. I don't know who those people are. Bam. I think I just, I sure did. Let's see if that pops up. I get a notification as soon as it does. Oh. Is it gonna? Is it gonna? It just did it for like a second. What the hell? Oh, that's ridiculous. I don't know what's happening. And now it's gonna repeat for a little while because whatever. Thank you very much, Julie, for the $20. That is super awesome of you. I do appreciate that. Now I hear you better. Yeah, I would hope so, cause I'm a little bit closer to the. But yeah. All right. Well, here as I'm staying with an exchange family in Japan, something very wrong is happening here. Part one. My name's Finn. Growing up, I was always the quiet one. I did my own thing, but had solidified myself in a friends group. None of us popular, none of us outcasts. I took this with me into college. It was there where I truly released the part of life I was missing. The friends I made there had an ambulant abundance of crazy stories and adventures that could silence a room. Let me fix this. There we go. Oh, mainly Lexi. She had traveled with the world, mostly by herself, which opened her up to meeting some really interesting people and getting herself into some really crazy scenarios. I wanted that. Was it out of my comfort zone? Absolutely. But that's where we thrive, right? So after college, I asked her for some advice on how to organize a solo trip. I wanted to backpack, live it rough, stay with host families or in hostels like she had done. She asked me where I wanted to go, and we got to talking about my possibilities. I chose to travel across Asia. It's somewhere I'd never been, and the ranging cultures from country to country, city to city intrigued me. I loved the way Lexi had spoke about each country: India, Uzbekistan, Thailand, Vietnam, South Korea. So, she'd put me in contact with people she had met along the way, people to house me or to offer me jobs as I planned my route. Lexi set me up with places to stay in most instances. Despite the occasional hostel, the trip was amazing. It brought out a side of me that I knew I had but rarely showed. I was talking to strangers, trying to speak to the locals in their respective languages, embracing the cultures of wherever I was. I lived day to day, from sleeping on packed buses to hitchhiking with strangers who soon became new friends. I stayed with an array of host families, all providing me with different experiences. And I'm on my way to stay with one final one before the end of my trip. I pulled out the itinerary that Lexi and I had come up with months prior. This last family I'm staying with was one of the few that required me to be on time. They lived in an isolated village in the mountains of Japan and were expecting me on a certain date at a certain time. Whilst Lexi hadn't actually stayed with this family, she had planned to. Her trip had been cut short due to personal circumstance, and she never got the chance to meet them. She had communicated with the family, though, through a mutual friend, as the family didn't have much access to the internet and apparently spoke very little English. All the information I had was the name of the village and to go to the main square where I would be greeted by the family. And that's basically all I knew. That's what makes this so exciting. I also knew the name of the family, the Nomoruta family. Nom Nomura Nomura family. The journey there was exhausting. I had taken a ferry from South Korea to Honshu, Japan. From there, I had taken a series of buses before having to walk about 30 minutes up a small dirt road through the trees. Thankfully, the bus driver knew where the village was before I got off in the middle of nowhere. I would have been useless with just my map and my very limited Japanese. He pointed me in the right direction, but the journey was worth it. The village is beautiful. It's large, situated on a grassy plain that rests along a small mountain which overlooked the traditional wooden houses. As I walked its streets, most people smiled and nodded. I'm guessing there weren't many outsiders that visited this place. I feel privileged to be one of them. The houses are made of wood and clay, providing a complementary rustic appearance against the bright green grass below. Some boasted large front doors, whilst others opted for the more traditional sliding door. I walked the streets in awe of the hustle and bustle going on around me, contrasted by the natural overwhelming beauty of the mountain above. I soon see an area that is clearly the main square of the village. Thank you. A clearing in the middle of the wooden houses with a beautiful statue standing tall in its center. I go to inspect the statue when a girl approaches me. I'd guessed mid-20s and smiles. Finn? She asks, focusing on pronouncing my name correctly. Yes, hi, I responded. Are you the Nomura family? Yes, yes, she excitedly replies. Welcome, I'm Ren. Hi, Ren, I introduce myself. My name is Finn. Thank you so much for agreeing to have me. Her English seems very good. I felt comforted that I would be able to speak with someone and be shown around, as I was under the impression that there would be a language barrier. Please, it's fine. We are very excited, she says. Would you like to come with me? Of course, I agree. I'm excited to see where I'll be staying during this last week of my trip. On the way to her house, Ren tells me that her family doesn't speak English except for her mother, who she is teaching. Ren says that she learned English when she moved out of the village to Kyoto, where she was able to take a class. As we walk, the house around me seemed to grow larger and further apart. Ren says that her house is situated just outside the village, and essentially we were in the same area where the richer families are. All in all, her house is around 20 minutes from the village square. down a beautiful green path, overhung by shrubs and flowers. It's more isolated than the houses in the village center, which I am happy about, as I'd be able to get most out of both the village life and the natural beauty that surrounds it. Rin's house is beautiful. Intricate designs danced on the light brown rooftops looming above its large front door frame. The wooden walls of the outer house pristine, as if newly made. The isolation of the house enhances its beauty, as there are no distractions to take away from the bold presence. I've hit the jackpot here. Rin opened the front door and welcomes me inside. The house is split into two parts: the main area with the dining table and kitchen, and an area with the bedrooms and bathroom. The two sections of the house are connected by a small walkway that takes you outside, providing a stunning view of flowery garden below. The main area hosts a dining table that lays close to the ground. Just off that, a kitchen area, an area looks like instruments. In the far corner of the room, a small house shrine. Across the connecting hallway, the sleeping area, a long wide corridor hosting rooms either side, each with a traditional sliding door made of what I think is rice paper. Ren shows me to my room, the third one down. My room is simple: a mattress lying on the floor and a small table perched below, an open window too high to see out of like the rest of the house. The walls and floor are made of wood. I set my bag down and unpack before going to meet her family. I meet the rest of the Nomuras after over dinner. Ren has a sister, Hina, Hina, who is quiet. She is younger than Ren, around 17, and I feel she was shy around me. Ren's mother, Saiko, is very sweet. She tried to use what English she had to make me feel welcome and offered me more food than I can handle. Ren's father, however, seems less welcoming. He is a serious man, speaking only to his wife throughout the meal after greeting me with a slight nod. Strangely, I am told to refer to him as Father Nomura. Whilst I didn't expect this, I won't question it. I won't question it, as they're doing me a favor by letting me stay here. I assumed it's a sign of respect. Dinner, however, is lovely. Sayako has clearly put a lot of effort into it. I'm already starting to feel comfortable here. When Ren pulls me aside, as we all part from the dining table, Finn, she grabbed my arm, locking eyes with mine. The last room is a sleeping area. That's my grandparents' room. The room at the end of the corridor. You aren't allowed to go in there. Oh, I didn't even realize your grandparents are staying here too, I replied, having not seen them. Yes, they are, she says, and you must make sure you don't go near their room, okay? Okay, I find that weird, obviously. I'm not going to go into anyone else's room. But if she was going to warn me about that, why only warn me about the grandparents' room? I am just back from a walk around the village. Rin and I went. She gave me a quick tour. best she could before it got dark. Before we headed back to her house, I didn't see any of her family on the way through the main area or in the corridor housing my bedroom. I thanked Ren, and I say I see her tomorrow. Exhausted from my long journey, I lay down to sleep. I wake to the sound of a whisper. The whisper is a harsh, long one. I can't make out what's being said. I think it's in Japanese. It's a fast whisper. Sounds like a chant. Someone is repeating something. I sit up and peer through the darkness at my sliding door. It's coming from the corridor, almost as if right outside my room. It starts to speed up even more, repeating the same incoherent phrase over and over. What the fuck? What's it saying? Suddenly the whispering stops. I sit there in silence, waiting for something to happen. Footsteps from the end of the corridor. The sound of footsteps increase as they quickly approach my door before passing it, seemingly heading for the exit. As they pass my door, I make out a silhouette through its paper. It moves fast. Weird. I get out of bed and edge towards my door. I slowly slide it open, peering into the dark corridor before me. It's empty. I look down one end, nothing, then down the other. Also nothing. I'm about to close the door and head back to sleep when I see wet footprints. They appear to have come from the room at the end of the corridor and lead all the way out to the connecting hallway outside. I can clearly see that whatever made them was a bare foot. Some of the footprints of them so clear that I could count each toe. I begrudgingly follow them. Just as I'm about to open the door into the connecting hallway outside, I hear the door of one of the bedrooms behind me slide open. It's Ren. Ren, I stutter. Someone's just ran by my room. She hushes me. It's my grandfather, she whispers. He has problems at night. She... Oh, grandmother, I'm sorry. Did I say that? It's grandmother. She runs into the village often at night. Father will get her. I figured she meant night terrors or sleepwalking or something. Spooked, I apologize to Ren and head back to my bed. The cold air wakes me up the next morning. The light streams through the open window above. As I sit up in bed, I have no idea what time it is. I could have slept for ages after all that traveling. I should probably get up and see what's happening. I roll out of bed and sit on the floor whilst going through my suitcase. I get changed and turn towards the bedroom door. I'm freaked out about last night, but it's my first night here, so I'm definitely not going to bring it up. I walk out into the corridor, and as I take one last look at the room before the sliding door is shut, I notice footprints. They're the same bare foot, wet footprints I had seen in the corridor last night. My heart flutters, and I scan their route. These were different footprints. Like last night, These came from the room at the end of the corridor, but instead of leading to the exit, they led into my room, towards my bed. I see 2 wet footprints planted on the floor at the foot of my bed. Rin's grandmother had been watching me sleep. So that's the first. That's the first one. I'm staying with an exchange family in Japan. Something very wrong is happening here. How did y'all like that one? I like that one. If y'all like that story, please go and upvote it. The authors really do appreciate when you give them praise. Uh, Magenta Cherry, thank you very much for being a member. That is super badass. An ultimate Hellraiser, even. Let me see here. Holy crap. I just realized that. Damn bug. Magenta Cherry is my first ultimate Hellraiser. I hope that wasn't a mistake. Um, that's super awesome. There's a bug on my monitor somewhere. So there's the story. I just saw it. Where'd it go? Magenta, I'm not sure if you're in my Discord, but please PM me there. And I don't know where it went. PM me on Discord. That is super awesome. All right. The insane level was insane. Yeah, it's more of a joke. I'm probably going to delete that one. I'm going to be honest with you. Um, yeah, that'd be pretty nuts if people did that. But if like a bunch of people did it, I mean, I wouldn't complain. Oh. Um, wow. My face just got hot. Thank you. That's Oh, also I want to say thank you to all my members. You people are awesome. Um, how are we doing on time? I think we're doing pretty good. We're at 48 minutes. That wasn't too bad of a story. I think we're going to continue. We're going to continue doing that. Because that was a fun one. Mr. Kaintar, I'm sorry that was it was a tough one for you. 'Cause I understand, we've talked about your grandfather. But this one's a creepy grandmother. So, I mean, damn, almost got him that time. I almost got him. Little bugs like to get in here from time to time. We always open and close the doors for the dogs. Now I'm going to be watching for a bug. And I don't want it to get into my apple juice. I think I got it that time. Hell yeah. Cool. Well, I'm just waiting to see if he gets back up. He was really bugging the out of me. All right, and this other one, I'm living my life backwards. I don't know. We're gonna give it a shot. So let's go ahead with that. This is I'm Living My Life Backwards by Richard Saxon. He did the other story, the space one, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, we've been stationed on the moon since 1988. Here's the reason it's been kept secret. But alright, now I gotta find my chat again. Oh, of course, it's behind my Streamlabs. Well, whatever. Boop. Hey, Phil Emerson, how you doing, bud? Yeah, so all right. Oh shoot, I just clicked something. Oh, okay, we're good. How's my favorite baller? I don't know, you're gonna have to ask him. He's behind me, isn't he? I can't see my camera feed. Let me. Nope, no one behind me. I think we're good. No, I'm doing well. I'm doing baller. um, oh, these damn notifications on Discord. How is your room backwards? Well, so this is it's kind of new, but my room's not backwards. Now you can read things. Let's there, like you can read that now. No, you can't. Well, it's backwards like that. But left is left now. This is right. But I like it like this because it's like a mirror to me. No, everything's gonna be written backwards. That's what it's gonna be. The door is right over there. Yeah, it's just here. I'll show you real quick. Let me flip it. Um, this is what you're used to seeing. Oh wait for it. Let me. There we go. This is how you're used to seeing it. Um, but when I raise this arm, it's raising it on this side, and I like it the other way. That might be weird, but I don't know. You know, it works for me. So now everything you see written, I hold up to my cam now is backwards. So then you'll have to hold a mirror and read it like that. Wait, so is it correct or backwards? It's correct for me, but it's backwards. Does that make sense? The other way around, when I see it, when I raise this arm, it looks like I'm raising this one. I don't know if that makes the sense. Um, I don't know what you just said there. Look at this thing. It's eventually gonna reach up to go inside my mouth. Oh crap! I can chew on my beard now. That's I need to trim this thing, or I need to get like weights so it holds down. I have problems with directional words, so I'll just try. I will I will not try to understand. Oh, I get it. I get what you said now, Phil. That took me a second. She said, and then it hit. Um, um, yeah. So let's do I'm living my life backwards, which my camera's backwards, so it's a little bit I don't know. Is it serendipitous or is it? I'm sure there's another word for it. No more nice cherry. I gotta take a fucking sip, babes. Oh no, I think he got up. Come on, bud. Are you dead? Did I get you? Nope. I'm gonna ruin my screen. You're just fucking with me now. No, yeah. Sorry, bud. I hope I don't get reincarnated as a bug on my monitor. And I'm trying to like signal in cursive. Please don't kill me. I'm you. Um. Anyways, so let's continue on to the story. Where did my little chat box go? There it is. Boop. I gotta I gotta comb the mustache though. It was a gnat. Yeah, probably like a gnat. This is how you do this right here. You just. Uh, uh. Uh, um, anyways, here we go. Tomorrow is the day my wife dies. It won't be an expected death, nor is it one that she deserves. What will happen is a simple, random act with no meaning beyond fate's command. We'll be out walking, holding hands, as we're heading home from a long day at work. Once we get to a crosswalk, her phone will ring. It's her mother calling her to tell us that she has cancer and it's returned once more. It doesn't come as a shock. She'd been in remission for a couple of years, but her body had been ravaged by the previous round of chemo and radiation. The words wear heavy on my Lucy, and I see the tears well up in her eyes. She tries to stay strong in front of me, pretending she can handle the moment she's been preparing. Then she starts to approach the crosswalk. That's when she doesn't notice. Is that during our brief pause? The light has turned red. As she takes her first step onto the crosswalk, she gets hit by a car and smashes her head to the ground. She dies on impact. The paramedics can do nothing to help. In less than a second, everything she ever was will be taken away from me, and I have to watch it happen. I'm so sorry, Lucy. Her death is a fact that I've known since we first met as young children, yet I can do nothing to prevent her ultimate demise. I matter, no matter how badly I want to. She made me promise and swear never to tell her the inevitable truths of the future. Even had to try to do so, it wouldn't have mattered. We weren't meant to know how the end. That's what makes life beautiful, she said. But they're just words written down in a book. A reassuring lie I don't remember. That'll be it. The last memory I have of my wife alive. Once her body's been buried, once I've moved away to another city, I'll forget she ever existed. And I'll be left with this hole in my heart that I won't be able to fill until the day I die. Because that's my curse. I remember everything from my own future, but nothing of the past. To the best of my knowledge, I've always been this way. From my very first step I took as a toddler, from the words spoken, I was given every single memory from my entire life, even though I hadn't yet experienced them. In return, they vanish from my mind once I experience them. In the most bizarre way, I'm living my life backwards. I'm burdened with the knowledge of tomorrow, knowing fully well I can't do anything to alter the oncoming passage of time. Thus, the ripe old age of 35, I've forgotten every single factual detail about my life. And once these words have been put down on paper, they'll be gone too, washed away by a fractured mind. But before we continue my story, let me answer a few questions such as how can I write if I forget ever learning it? How can I walk? How can I even have a relationship with other people if their details elude me day by day? To the first two, I'll answer this. Do you remember your first steps? The act of learning how to stand on 2 feet? Or is it simply something you know how to do? A skill ingrained in your very being? Do you even need to think before speaking? Or do words just flow out with only its context possessed? Love, on the other hand, is an emotion that transcends memory. It's so deeply buried in our hearts that there have been cases of total amnesia, riddling the person of everything save the love they hold within. Memory and skill don't necessarily go together. Some abilities are ingrained in our muscles and our subconscious mind. That's why I still miss my mother. Even though I remember nothing about her, and that's why I still love my wife on her last night of life. My curse is more like a reverse amnesia, and the stories I have to tell are simple words read from a notebook. Each day I wake to read the events from a time I cannot remember. The handwriting doesn't belong to myself, but to distinct people. The first set of stories, spanning from my childhood to mid-20s, were written by my mother. She was a brilliant person, quick to action, and smart as all hell. She noticed something off about me at a very young age, once I started predicting things that hadn't yet come to pass. The first incident occurred when I was 5 years old. It was such innocuous, dumb complaint. I didn't want to go outside because of the storm. I was afraid the lightning would hit me during the picnic we'd planned. My mother was naturally confused, as the trip had been scheduled for the next day, and the weather report had confidently stated that the day would be filled with nothing but sunshine. Then, as the next morning arrived, my mother was shocked to see that my predictions had come true. Baffled, but still skeptic, she wrote it down in her own diary as little more than an oddity. Just a year later, my mother found me crying in my room. I was distraught because of our cat had died. She sat down and started to comfort me. Sure, our pet was of advanced age, but he had still remained healthy and curious as ever. In the middle of the frantic cries, the cat just walked in, checking on what the commotion was about. A month later, he passed peacefully in his sleep. a good old cat who lived a great life. As I grew older quickly, I learned to separate past from the future. My mother had already put two and two together, and she knew my life would be complicated, one full of challenges, because of the fact that I had difficulty making friends. Back then, my wife Lucy lived next door, and even she figured out something was weird about me. To her young mind, it seemed more of a superpower than a curse, and she eagerly promised to help me keep it a secret. Whether my ability was a gift or a curse, my mother never loved me any less. Instead, she took it upon herself to write down whatever moments we shared. That way, my life, though not remembered, would never be forgotten. She did her best to make my life manageable, but despite her best efforts, it was a painful journey, not just for myself, but for those who loved me. Of course, she never blamed me after all. It wasn't my fault. But as all people eventually do, my mother passed away. It's something I can't correctly recall, but the emotion connected to the event lingers firmly in my heart. It was my 22nd birthday, and we had booked a table at a decently fancy restaurant. Whether the food was good or bad, I can't remember. All I know is that on that day in particular, it was raining. On the slippery roads my mother was supposed to drive. As she turned a foggy corner, she was hit by a drunk driver who didn't react in time to stop. She died then, on my birthday, and I couldn't accept it. So I die something horrible and change it. That's the day I learned the true curse of my condition. I did everything I could to convince my mother not to go. I begged her to stay at home, threatened that I wouldn't show up for my own birthday if she is if she as much set a foot outside the house. Thanks to my tantrum, my mother agreed to stay at home. She was smart enough to know something terrible was about to happen and didn't press the matter any further. We spent the evening watching a movie, mindless fun for someone unable to remember the plot. But I was ecstatic nonetheless. I thought I had changed the course of history. My mother never left the house. As a result, she was never hit by a drunk driver. But that's the funny thing about fate. There's nothing that can stop it. In the end, my efforts were fruitless. Because she was supposed to die. That night, her soul, spirit, essence, whatever the hell you want to call it, vanished. Her time had come, and though I had hindered the death of the physical body, she was taken away from me. It wasn't until the next morning before I noticed something was wrong. I found her sitting on the edge of her bed, unresponsive and catatonic. None of the doctors could explain it. All of her vitals appeared fine. Despite being physically healthy, she was just gone. I learned that day that I cannot save anyone who fall victim to the cruel judgment of destiny. In the end, whenever I tried, it only made things worse. The worst part is that ever since, I never actually experienced her death as it was supposed to happen. That's the only memory of my past I still remember, though it doesn't seem to match up with reality. In my mind, she was hit by a drunk driver, but according to every available document, she spent her final several years in coma, only dying once her body finally gave out. By the time of my mother's death, my girlfriend had already known about my curse for years, and it took it upon herself to take over the task of recording my life. Each event, important or minor, was jotted down in the same notebook that my mother had carried around for so many years. To this day, I don't know what I've done to deserve such an amazing woman. Despite my complicated life, she still loves me. It was odd, though, having known each other since children, she just got to know me, and I started to forget her. I guess it helped, having grown up side by side with my secret. That's the only way she could possibly understand, to see beyond it, to know who I truly am. Even then, as we first met, I knew we'd end up married one day. Of course I did. I had every single memory stored in my mind. Maybe that fact allowed me to act more confident than I truly was. Or maybe destiny played a hand in our pairing. I don't know. But by the time we entered an age where crushes became an acceptable fact, we quickly started dating. Together, we shared all of our firsts, though I don't remember any of them. I can recall the feeling connected to each event. I love her with all my heart, despite losing some of the memories I have of her for each passing day. Which brings me to present day. Tonight, we won't be able to sleep, but she will know why. But something will irk her mind. Instead, we'll stay up talking and reminiscing about the times lost, since past, long since past. I won't crack. I won't cry. And I won't let her know what's about to happen. She'll just write her final entry into my book, and then we'll fall asleep in each other's arms. I can't prevent her death, lest I want to suffer the same fate as my mother. And once she's gone, there will be no one left to continue my story. Each day will pass as it always has, and I'll forget it. Doomed to wander this world alone, I can do nothing save wait for my eventual death. That's why I'm writing this now. As my wife sleeps beside me, I need the world to know that I can't. I need someone to remember my story, to remember that I once walked this path. I don't regret my life, despite all odds. It was a happy one. It was filled with love. And despite my memory being lost, I know there will be a trace of my presence rippling through time itself. Life is not a certainty. Don't treat don't treat it like tomorrow is given. It might never come. So that wasn't really scary, but I like that one. Chad Krotz, how you doing, bud? And Big J's Fish Keeping, howdy howdy. I hope you're all doing well. I mean, it's sad. It's really sad. But you know, um, how did y'all like that one? So if y'all will excuse me for a moment, I'm gonna go burn one. Um, Decent story, but sad to be him. Yeah, well, I think he's come to realize that that's the life he lives. Well, all right. Let me go. Let me go burn one real quick. I'm gonna play some Uzak, and yeah, that's yeah that one. All right. I am so sorry about the volume. Oh, haha. If I can't scare you while I'm on camera, I'll scare you when I'm off camera. or make your ears bleed. Oh, my back. I'm itching my back. Oh. Oh. Hey, what's this button do? Mini feed, scene selector. Okay, that's cool. Okay, how do I go back? Oh no, no. Oh, where did Streamlabs go? All right, let's go back to the stream. Nope. Nope. Oh wait. Nope, that's not it. Save changes. Oh, there we go. Okay. Ooh. Gotta go hitting buttons. Oh, it's going well, Nathan. How are you doing? And Chad, wait, I had someone else join recently. Well, Nathan Fishboy, how you doing? Oh, Myron Van Gessel. Howdy, howdy. Alright, well, we'll probably do a couple more stories and I'll call it quits. Jeez, the alerts on Discord. I don't even know I'm still in this Discord. Leave. There we go. There we go. I think I got it. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, everything's going well for me. You know, can't complain. I mean, I could, but who would listen? I was made in the 70s. Oh, it was made in the 70s by a homesteader. So then that means your house didn't cost anything? I mean, it shouldn't have. Doing great. Was meant to go into work, but called in sick coming down with the flu. Ooh, I hope you feel better soon, my friend. Hopefully some stories will ache those old bones. I think I'm gonna do part 2 to the I'm staying with an exchange family in Japan. Something's very wrong is happening here. If I read it like that, that'd be ridiculous. I'm not gonna do that. Do y'all want that story now, or do y'all want different stories? I will always listen to you complain, Chappie. Aw. It's very sweet of you, Julie. Y'all let me know if y'all want to continue that story. Right, meow. How long is this one? That was a long one. You do want to continue. You okay over there? Aww. Yeah, good baby. They're not my stories. They're someone else's. It's okay, lay down. Lay down. No, it's just a flashlight. I was just checking on you because you were making noises. It's okay. It's okay. Lay down, baby. All right. Well, we'll continue. If you didn't hear part one, it was at the beginning of the stream, and I apologize. To you, this will be like the Star Wars movies. Read it like Elmer Fudd. Oh, man. Anyways. There we go. Okay. Might be someone else's, but you have the best voice for the stories. Thank you.
Well, here's my real voice.
Hope you like it. No, I'm just kidding. All right, well, this is a continuance of part one. I'm staying with an exchange family in Japan. Something's very wrong. Something very wrong is happening here, part two. By Squishy Cabbage. Mmm. Mmm. Nom nom nom. All right. I decide not to talk to Ren about the footprints in my room last night. If they have a grandmother with these types of issues, it must be very hard to control. And they must be aware of this kind of things happening. Although I'm on edge, I'm not really the kind of person to completely wave something off like this. Call it overthinking. But I always feel like something more sinister is going on, even when it isn't. Whilst I'm not going to forget that it happened, I'm not going to bring it up to Ren, especially not after my first night here. It might not even happen again. Is that foreshadowing? Ooh. Ren is taking me around the village this morning. It's just as beautiful in the early light as when I'd arrived. The mountaintop glistening with the still rising sun. However, I do notice something is different. The people. When I arrived in the village yesterday, they were smiling, waving, greeting me. Now they look in shock of my presence. A man who I clearly recognize as the one who waved at me the day before just looks at me, then at Ren, then back to me, almost as if in fear, before turning back to his family. Ren isn't speaking to anyone, and they aren't speaking to her. Surely, in a village this size, everyone is friendly with everyone. Or at least Ren would recognize some of the people around us. But probably not. Apparently not. Not even probably. Apparently not. We've been walking for around an hour, mostly talking about my life, when a man bursts from his house and grabs me. His hands grip my shoulders, and he stares into my eyes with an alarmed look on his face. He is speaking fast. His tone is one of urgency, frantically speaking to me. volume slowly rising. Ren quickly pushes him away. I was too in shock to even react. She speaks in a quick sentence back to him before grabbing my arm and leading me away. He stays by his house, still shouting at me from afar. What the? I exclaim. What was that? What was he saying? He's trying to sell you something, Ren replies. Eyes front, she continues to lead me away from the scene. Sell me something? I ask in shock. Why would he? What? Was that even a shop? It's nothing. She seemed indifferent, sterner. He was trying to rip you off because you're not from here. What the fuck? That's an aggressive way of trying to achieve a sale. Almost unbelievably so. The first interaction I've had with someone else today. Was that? I look back towards the man just before he disappears from my view. He's on his knees pointing at me, still shouting. We are just back from the village. I'm going back to my room to show Ren a book I told her about. I enter the corridor of the bedrooms. At the far end, I see Father Nomura with a clearly elderly man. Ren's grandfather. The old man is frail, with strands of gray hair on his head and tired eyes. Father Nomura appears to be helping him into the room, one hand on his shoulder, the other locked with his. Father Nomura looks up at me. So does the grandfather. Father Nomura shouts something in Japanese, waving his head to exit behind me, as if telling me to leave. He seems angry. I freeze in my tracks. Do I continue to my room? Is he actually telling me to go back the way I came? My eyes dart to the grandfather. He's staring at me, eyes wide now. His mouth is moving. He's muttering something I can't quite hear. He's saying it over the shouts. Not that I'd understand anyways. I turn to leave as Father Nomura's tone gets more agitated. As I turn, grandfather speaks up, although still a rasp whisper. He's repeating something. He's repeating the same phrase I had heard outside my room last night over and over. I shut the door behind me, stand on the walkway, staring blankly at the flowers below. I've just finished dinner. Other than Ren and Seiko, the weird exchange with Father Nomura, I have seen none of the family today. Dinner was quaint, but delicious. Seiko continued to force food onto my plate throughout the entire meal. Ren and I are sitting in the garden outside, teaching Seiko some English phrases. It's been quite a strange day. I've been shouted at by a random guy and by Father Nomura. But it's been a really nice day, too. I can't sleep. Last night is replaying in my head, freaking me out. I'm nervous that as soon as I fall asleep, someone's going to come into my room or something. I've been lying here for a few hours, and I haven't heard a peep outside, but I'm still on edge. My brain won't shut up. In fact, my thoughts are so loud and overwhelming that I almost didn't notice my door begin to slide open. It opens very slowly. Someone in the corridor is sliding it quietly and carefully, as if trying not to make a sound. I am frozen. I stare at the doorway as more of the dark corridor is exposed. It's almost as if the darkness pours into my room, bringing with it fear and uncertainty. The door soon is fully open, but I see nobody. Just darkness. I hear nothing, see nothing. My door just opens, that's it. I'm not moving. I lay in bed on edge, ready to spring up at any moment should I need to. But nothing else happened. It's been open now for 5 minutes and nothing. I build up courage to go shut it. I stand up slowly and quietly, edge towards the door. Curiosity takes the better of me as I reach it. I quickly peer down both ends of the corridor. To the left towards the exit, nothing. Darkness. To the right, a light at the end of the corridor. A faint light coming from the open door of the grandparents' room. Although the room is side on, so I can't see inside, the light is clearly candlelit as it flickers in such a way. Fuck that. I start to slide my door shut and notice the footprints once more. Wet footprints. Bare wet footprints. They lead from the grandparents' room to mine and go back the way they came. Had the grandmother come by my room, opened my door, then gone back to sleep? I was so in shock. Engulfed by both fear and overwhelming darkness, that I almost missed it. The wall opposite the grandmother's room had a faint shimmer of light reflected onto through the open door. As well as light, a shadow is reflected on the wall. The shadow of a figure, a person, standing just inside the room. It's just standing there, completely still. I feel like it's facing the corridor, but I can't tell for sure. All I know is that something is standing right by the entrance to their room, barely inside it, but far enough that I can't actually see them. Are they waiting for me to investigate? Do they know I can see them? They're so fucking still. I quietly slide my door fully shut and then go back to bed. It's now 3 a.m. and I haven't fully slept. I don't think I will. Well, sleep must have taken me last night, although I don't know when. I sit up in bed fast, in a panic, looking around my sunlit room. No footprints. My door is shut. Bag seems untouched. Wow. I'm so thankful for that. Although, I'm freaking scared. I'm scared about last night. I'm scared about tonight. Hell, I'm scared about even getting out of this bed right now. Tonight, though, I'm gonna set up my phone, maybe in the corridor, and film what's going on. I'm gonna hide in the corner, perhaps one of the protruding rafters. I'll make sure it's difficult to see. Nobody will see it. I want to find out what happens here at night. Let me give y'all the link to that story. If y'all are liking these stories, please upvote them on the Reddit. They really do appreciate this stuff. Let's go on to part thrice. Would y'all like to hear part thrice? You're very welcome for part 2. Yeah, you can barely hear it, can't you? Oh, but you can kind of hear it when I'm not talking. Yeah. Yes, part 3. Onward through the fog. Yes, please. All right. How long have we been going for? All right, about an hour 50. So this will be the last story, okay? And then we'll do part 4 tomorrow. So here's my plan. Firstly, I'm going to tell Ren I'm exploring the village alone. Except I'm not going to explore the village. I'm going to hike down to where the bus dropped me off and hope that the bus stop there's some kind of schedule at it. I had tried to find bus schedules on my phone, but couldn't see any information. I'm freaking out right now. And I will feel more at ease knowing there are ways I can get out of here, should I need to. The Nomuras have been nothing but kind to me. Well, Seiko and Ren have. But I feel I need to have an exit route. Just in case. I'm not going to tell Ren where I'm going. I don't want to offend her. But part of me also doesn't trust her. I don't want her to get suspicious. Secondly, the camera. I've downloaded an app on my phone that's used for overnight recording. I think it's advised towards parents watching over their children's rooms or something. I'll set it up and see what happens here at night. If I see anything that I don't like, I'm out of here. I'm almost at the bus stop. Earlier, I had eaten breakfast with Ren and Saeko before telling them that I wanted to go explore the village on my own. Ren insisted she joined me, but I assured her that I'd be alright, and I want a day to myself. My walk through the village was similar to yesterday's. Nobody smiled at me, or even acknowledged me. The only difference was that nobody tried to sell me anything today. I reached the bottom of the hill. It's been about 45 minutes since I left the Nomura's house. I've been walking fast. I see the rusty old sign that the bus stopped at when it had dropped me off. I pace towards it, squinting my eyes to read through the rust. I see only 2 time slots. Both times are on the same day I was dropped off, separated by an hour. Fuck. The next bus out of here is the bus I was planning on taking anyway. This was for nothing. There are no buses out of here, of this place, for days. I pray I won't need one. Fully fed, I sat on my bed after dinner. Other than finding out there are no buses out here, it's been an uneventful day, but I'm dreading the night. I open up the recording app, turn my phone on silent, turn its brightness down. I don't want to be seen. Everyone was going to bed, but I still hear people occasionally walking around. I'll wait for everyone to be asleep before setting up the camera. It's been silent for hours now. It's time. I quickly get out of bed, tiptoe over to my door. I slowly open it, looking down the corridor. Empty. I know where I'm setting this up. The far end of the corridor has a rafter I can prop my phone up on. It's the only place that'd work. The rafter by the front door would be too easy to spot by anyone leaving. I creep down the corridor, passing a series of rooms, including the grandparents. Softly as I can, I jump and grab the rafter, pulling myself up and propping my phone so it films down the corridor. Awesome. I slowly lower myself back to the ground. I'm quite proud of myself for being so silent. When the grandparents' door starts to slide open, I freeze. I'm just beyond the door at the end of the corridor. I don't move, hoping I'm not seen. Father Nomura and Seiko walk out of the room, shutting the door behind them, deep in discussion. They don't see me. They hurriedly walk up the corridor before exiting into the walkway at the other end. That was so close. Had I been walking past the grandparents' room when they exited? The walkway door slowly opens once more. They're coming back. Shit. I have no other choice. The only place I can get to fast enough without them seeing me is the grandparents' room. I quickly open the door and slide myself in, shut it behind me. Just as they enter the corridor, stairs. That's what I see. A staircase going down. This isn't just a bedroom. At the edge of each step, a dimly lit candle. I can't see beyond the bottom of the staircase. Father Nomura and Seiko's voices are getting louder now. I think they're coming back towards the grandparents' rooms. I hear their footsteps louder and louder. Their hushed voices are now outside the door I had just come through. I move down the stairs, finding myself in a room with 2 sliding doors. Nothing else. Just a small, square wooden room with 2 traditional sliding doors on either side. Nowhere to hide. I have to choose a door. As I stare at each door, I see movement, a shadow through the door on the right. My choice is made for me. I go to the door on the left, shutting it behind me. I get swallowed by darkness. Shaking, I am pressed up against the door I just went through. I hear Father Nomura and Seiko making their way down the stairs. The room I chose is completely dark. I try to quickly scan it for somewhere to hide in case one of them comes in, but I can't see anything around me, and I don't want to venture further into the room unless I absolutely have to. I can't see and might knock something over. I hold my breath. Footsteps. Father Nomura and Seiko have just reached the bottom of the stairs. To my relief, their quiet steps are hushed, and conversation leads into the other room. I hear the door slide open behind them. I'm still frozen and want to wait a second before making my move. But I can still hear something. Something behind me. No longer disrupted by the sound of Father Nomura and Seiko, I can hear something in the room with me. I hear slow, quiet breathing, exasperated or rasping breaths sounding from behind me in the darkness. Every breath sounds as if it's causing incredible pain. The breath is quiet, but the anguish that comes with each breath is clear. I'm not finding out who or what is in this room with me. With no second thought, I open the door, shutting it behind me, and bolt up the stairs to my room, careful with every step. I tried to stay awake after that happened. I tried to be on alert, but I was too exhausted. I had fallen asleep shortly after sneaking out of the grandparents' room. I am beyond freaked out. I'm trying to tell myself that there's an explanation for last night, that I had simply heard one of the grandparents breathing, but I couldn't convince myself that what I heard was normal. Something about it terrified me, made me feel cold. Every breath was laced with pain and suffering. I could almost feel it myself. And if I had been in the room with the grandparents, what did I see through the screen of the other room? There's something happening in this house. I go to collect my phone. Even in the morning light, it was almost impossible to see it. I had hidden it well. I quickly grab it and bring it to my room to see if anything had happened during the night. Skimming through the recordings, the bright green filter of the night vision provides a creepy view of the corridor. The shadows in the corridor dancing as the room makes its cycle through the night. Father Nomura and Seiko left the grandparents' room late, going back to their room. Nothing out of the ordinary. I reach 3:54 a.m. I see movement. Simultaneously, all doors slide open, but mine and the grandparents in sync. Each of the family members step out. Hina stepping out of the room next to mine, Rin,
The room opposite, both parents step out of their rooms at the same time, all in unison. Furthest from the camera, Hina walks down the corridor first, towards its end. As she passes Ren, she walks by her side. The parents then follow suit, walking behind the sisters. None of them appear to speak or acknowledge each other. They gather around the grandparents' room. Father Nomura opens it, and they enter before the door is slid shut. I fast forward to 4:40 a.m. Movement. The door of the grandparents' room is opened. The family walk out in the same order they had entered. Sisters side by side, parents side by side behind them. Father Nomura shuts the door behind him. They walk towards my room. They surround my door. Their mouths are moving, as if they are chanting something. They stand at my door, staring at it for exactly 23 minutes. Father Nomura then moves. He opens my door slowly, carefully. The family enters my room, the same order they had maintained throughout, completely in sync. The door is shut behind them. My heart is racing. What the fuck did they do in here? I look around my room. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. I even feel my body. Nothing feels different. I fast forward exactly 23 minutes later. My bedroom door slid open. The family exit, parting ways. They go to their respective rooms, shutting the doors in unison. I'm leaving. I don't know where I'll go. Maybe I'll seek refuge in the village, or even brave the wilderness. I don't know. I just have to get out. I quickly pack my things, open my door to see Rin on the other side. Finn, she says, a nervous look on her face as she sees my bag is fully packed. Where are you going? I stutter. Laundry. I don't know why I said that, but it works. Finn, she says, calmly responds. Father wants to speak to you in the main area. Why? My father? My heart... My heart is beating out of my chest. I might just run. He wants to talk about something, she replies. He knows you went to my grandparents' room last night. Hey, Hope. It's freaking hot in my room. I'm starting to sweat. It's because my fan's not on hurricane mode, probably, and I've got this heat pumping machine right here and my PlayStation right on the desk. Well, I hope y'all like that story. We're gonna continue it tomorrow. But anyways, I think I'm gonna end here. We're at about 2 hours. That's a pretty good stream. Oh yeah, cliffhanger. That's how I get you all to come back. Hurricane mode would make a difference. That's what I'm going to put it on as soon as I sign off. Anyways, once again, everybody say thank you to Magenta Cherry. She's our first Ultimate Hellraiser. And I want to say thank you to all my other members. Thank you all for being super badass people. I don't care if you're, 99 cents to all the way to the top. You're all super awesome. Awesome people. But let me go through the list real quick. Thank you, Stacy Morgan, The Zen Ginger, Loic RC, Fishroom Fever, Alex's Aquatics, Dark Fruit Dolls, Chattanooga Ed, The Smiley Virus, Emmy Excelsior, Jess Shrimp Granny, Scott's Aquatics, Julie Writes on Walls, Priscilla MK, Cynthia McKee, Dan Slee, Phil Emerson, Soapbox Debris, Jessica Taylor, Mr. Zen, Drama Mama, Mikey Lugo, Majora EXP, and Magenta Cherry. You are all super awesome people. Yeah, so anyways, yeah. So if you want to become a member, think about it. That'd be kind of cool. I'd like to see that whole list green. That'd be super badass. But if you can't, I understand. Anyways, like normal, I'm gonna end the stream, but play music for a while. So if for the people that are still just listening to listen, my hair was doing something weird in the mirror. In the mirrored image I see. But yeah, so I'll be in the Discord, and I will talk to you in the Discord. I'll talk to you all in the Discord, and yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Till then, everyone be creepy, be awesome, and don't turn around.